Hello and welcome to Susie on the Farm. I'm Susie, your host for today's video, and in today's episode we are going to be talking about cloches and cloche decorating. Now, to be honest, I did not even know what a cloche was until a few years ago, so I had to look it up, and originally they were used for plants or food, which is a very basic use for them, but nowadays you can find them in all sorts of decorating. Most of the time at the thrift store you will find these cheese dome cloche like things, and I have picked up several of these over the last few years and sold them. I like to rise them up, bring them up a little bit of height, and I just think that they look better that way, and you can get really creative doing that. We're going to do a few cloche DIYs, and for the first one we are going to work with those cheese dome cloches, and we're going to rise them up. So I've had these two candle bases, pedestal things. They're cast iron. I had previously upcycled them in a video and they never did sell. And I have a couple of these wood rounds in my stash that it looks like I had also previously painted, and then I decided to sand them because they were just too rough. So I never repainted them or used them. So we're going to use them in today's video. I am going to do the same thing with these wood rounds that I did to those candle bases, and I'm going to paint them in cast iron by Fusion. For now, I'm not going to paint the bottom because I want my glue to really work. So I'm going to give these a coat of cast iron, and then I'm going to take some antique gold rub and buff. Basically, I'm just going to use my finger to just dry brush the edges so they'll kind of match with those candle bases before we glue them together. And then I am going to use my quick and thick Tite Bond glue. This is my go-to glue for everything. It holds everything I have ever glued. It's holding. I'm just going to go around the rim of the candlestick base, put a good coat of glue, and then I'm going to center it up on the bottom of my wood round, and then I will take a baby wipe to wipe up any excess glue. The Tite Bond glue does dry clear, I think. Most of the time you can't see it, but I think it dries clear. But just in case, I am going to paint the bottom of these. I don't want any, big glue globs on there too. So I'm going to let these dry overnight, and then they are good to go. They are not coming apart. And my cheese domes fit perfectly on these wood rounds. Now, when it comes to cloche bases, you can get pretty creative. You do not have to have wood rounds. I have used wood bowls. I have used risers. This is just some stuff that I had in my stash that we can use for risers. This is a basic candlestick, which also can hold risers without any kind of base if you get the right size. I'm going to show you a quick way to freshen up your wood. I love the color of both of these. I don't want to change it, but they do have some scratches and some imperfections, and I am just using this wood finish by Howard, and it is amazing what this feed and wax will do. I'm just using a little brush to get all in there. It's basically giving these wood pieces a drink and freshening them up, and you just won't believe how much it will do for your wood pieces. Even on a piece of furniture, if you got a piece of furniture that just looks tired and old, give it some wax. It will help it, I promise. So we're just going to fix up these couple of bases, and I have a couple of like chicken wire cloches that I have in my store, and so I need these for bases on them. And also, you can make your own chicken wire cloche. I'll show you some ideas for that here in just a second. I just looked these up on Pinterest. Like I said, you can make them. Some of them look just like a wire basket turned upside down, or you can use a lampshade and put some chicken wire on there. You can even buy them on Amazon, but they are pretty expensive, and so I'll show you some other ways to do those here in a minute, even if you don't have chicken wire, which I didn't have any in my stash. These are just a couple that I had in my store, and look how good they look on that wooden bowl and this brass candlestick. So you don't have to have any type of certain base, any time a certain cloche. You can make your own. And that's what we're going to do here. This is just, I'm just going to give you some different cloche ideas. This is just like a fruit basket that I had in my stash. I liked it, but I thought we could turn it into a cloche, and I wanted to give it a little bit more antiqued feel. So I took some of that antique gold, and not doing full coverage, I just used a paper towel and kind of went over this, and rub and buff really goes a long way. I've had this one tube forever and I use it all the time. So once that's on there and it's dry, we're going to talk about toppers. Now, most cloches have a handle or a top or a spindle of some sort. And I don't know if y'all remember, I went to the bins a few weeks ago and I got a bunch of candlesticks, and they all had these what are these called? Finials on the end of them. And most of the time you can just screw them off and screw that screw right out, and then you have a basic little finial you can put on the top of your cloche. Now I want this one to match, so I am going to go ahead and do a little rub and buff over this black metal finial, and then I'm going to glue it on there. I'm going to use a combination of my Top Bond glue and hot glue. There's not a lot of room for gluing on that metal, so I wasn't sure if it was going to hold, but it did. I just had to hold it in place until the hot glue dried, and then let the Tite Bond glue overnight. And then to hide it, I took some twine, because you can still see the glue underneath, and I didn't want to peel it all off, so I took some twine and I just covered all of that. Just a minute and talk to y'all about some fun things I got going on and some scheduling changes. So from now on, I'm going to start doing my Friday videos at 10 a.m. I know some of y'all don't watch them till you get off work, and that's fine. But so a couple weeks ago when I did the podcast interview with Sonnet, we got to talking about Whatnot, and I wasn't going to do it, but then I started watching Whatnot, and y'all, it is so much fun that I had to schedule my first Whatnot show. I'm going to start off like small. I'm just going to do some little things from the store, but Friday night at 6, join me over on Whatnot. You can stream it on Facebook Live or on YouTube, but if you want to purchase or make any bids on any of my things that you see me auction, you'll need to download the Whatnot app. I'll send out an invite for that on all the platforms, but I'd love it if y'all join me. I'm super nervous. I don't have many followers. I don't know if I'll sell a thing, but I've got some great things listed if y'all want to check those out. So go ahead and download that Whatnot app and meet me here at 6 Friday night. That's what y'all are used to with my videos anyway. So I hope to see you there. I'm really excited. I hope it's going to be a lot of fun. And I'll see y'all then. Now let's get back to our cloches. For our next cloche idea, I picked up this cute little glass vase, jar, bowl. Not sure what it is. It's on a pedestal, and I thought that it actually even kind of looked like a bell. And I'm going to be honest, one of the worst things about reselling and thrifting is cleaning the items, because sometimes them thrift stores really get carried away with the tape. I had to goog on this one. It really took me some time to get all this tape off. I'm not sure if there was something in this that they were trying to hold in, but I did eventually get it all cleaned up, and all I did was turn it upside down, and I'll show you like a base idea for it later on in the video. But look how cute that turns out for a little cloche, and this is not what this was meant to be. And this is what all the next ones are going to be too, just a bunch of glass vases that I've got at the thrift store for $1 or next to nothing. As long as they sit flat, have the shape and the size that you're looking for, they will work. So all we need to do for these is create some tops. And now this is just a natural wood finial that I had in my stash, and I wanted it to match that older wood from the bowl and the base from before. So I'm just using a little bit of the Fusion Antiquing Glaze. I'm going to put that all over this dry wood and then wipe it back with a paper towel. And I love the color that it turns out, and now it matches our decor much better. Once the glaze has dried, I am going to glue it onto one of our glass vases using, you guessed it, Titebond Quick and Thick. Just going to put a good coat on there. I am going to rub this in with my finger, wipe off any excess glue with a baby wipe, and set it aside, let it dry. Now for the other glass domes, I have a really, really inexpensive one I want to show you. This is basically it is a Dollar Tree globe, I guess, or like a little terrarium, but it fits so perfectly on top of that black candlestick that I have been hanging on to forever. And this is a chess piece. I thrifted a bag full of chess pieces, and I'm constantly using these little pieces on different things. All I had to do was peel off the felt on the bottom, glue it on to this little glass dome, and I think it turned out to be one of the cutest little cloches. I basically used a few different finials that I had and created all of these, and look how they look together. Don't forget to pick up those chess pieces when you find them. You can use them for so many things. For our last cloche idea, Teresa gave me this lampshade base. The fabric's already been off of it, and this is one of those fancy finials that I got on those curtain rods at the bins when Teresa and I went shopping. Now, I could not for the life of me get the screw out of this one. I don't know if it was super glued in there or what, so I had to work with it how it was. Took a few different ideas trying to figure out what to do, and then I remembered this glass doorknob that I had, and it was a perfect fit on top of that fancy finial. This is going to be one of those fancy French country, shabby chic type cloches anyway. So I filled the doorknob up with some hot glue, and I tied a ribbon around it. I hot glued the finial. It sat perfectly on that base, but I went ahead and did some hot glue for some hold. All of this can come apart because I am just using hot glue if someone wants to take it apart later. Centered it up, glued it on there, and this one is good to go. And now we're going to get started styling these cloches, and that is the most fun. For this one, I picked a bunch of pink items. I had this pink bell and some other things. For the base of this one, this lampshade fit perfectly on this silver platter that I had, but it doesn't even have to have one at all. Now, let's get into what to put under your cloches. I say anything that fits, that brings you joy to look at, you can put under that cloche. And that's exactly what I do. But you can go to Pinterest and you can look up all kinds of ideas for putting under cloches. One of the main things that I find to decorate cloches is seasonal. And of course, this is the season of pumpkins. So we're going to put some pumpkins under these cloches. And I love to seasonal decorate with cloches. I have these cute little plaid pumpkins. I'm just going to put one under this one. And also, you can put bird nest under your cloches. And if you don't have a base, one of my favorite things to put cloches on are books. So I just did a couple of books, a bird nest, and it fits perfectly under this bell-shaped cloche that I have. And my little aged baby shoes fit perfectly under our homemade wired cloche. And I sat the little Avon angel near them. I played around with this just a little bit. I thought I wanted some greenery, but then I went back to the baby shoes. I just think that they were the best match for this smaller, like lower size cloche. But anything will work. This brass looks so good under there too. Remember those offering plates that I upcycled a few weeks ago? They also made perfect bases for several of my cloches. Birds of any kind are also a perfect thing to put under your cloche. I even elevated this one with a little brass candlestick. Collections are a great thing to display in your cloches. I have quite an assortment of lemons, salt and pepper shakers, measuring cups. I just love lemons, especially in the summertime. They're a little off season right now, but I love that pop of yellow and green. Greenery. You can just put greenery in your cloches. If you love succulents, they look gorgeous under there. Took some of my fancy soaps and put them under some cloches, and I love how that looks too. My brass collection, anything that you love that fits can go under your cloches. I hope that y'all got some great ideas for decorating with cloches and even DIYing your own cloches out of things that you find at the thrift store. Thank y'all so much for watching this video. I'll see you Friday at 10 for my regular video, and don't forget my Whatnot show at 6 p.m. Friday night. See y'all then.